Welcome to the Beach House with Mo and Steph. Come on in, pour yourself a drink, and join us out on the deck as we inspire, encourage, and empower one another to live authentic, audacious, above only lives. It's all right here at the Beach House. Welcome to the Beach House with Mo and Steph.
Good Sunday. Good
Sunday to you.
To you.
You, girl. Good Sunday to you.
How you doing, girl?
It's funny, you know. I had plans for the weekend. I
Uh-oh.
didn't get to none of them.
None of them?
I didn't get to none of them because I spent the day with Noah at the ER.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you know,
that's not the plan.
That was not the plan. That was not the plan. It never goes as planned. But, you know, when you go to the ER, it's never going to be a quick visit. Never.
No.
Never.
How long were you there?
It was 9 to 5.
It was 9 in the morning to 5?
It was a whole work day.
Are you kidding me?
And here's the thing. There was like barely anybody there.
See?
I mean, like, when we went into the waiting room, we were the only ones there. So I'm thinking, it's going to go quick. It didn't.
Hey, what the heck?
I don't know. I think they just like, you know, it's part of it's in the contract that you just have to stay.
Oh, maybe they were lonely.
I think they just want to keep you around because they love you so much.
Yeah, I think they were lonely and they wanted you guys to stay there all night long.
All night. All night.
Get it.
Because they didn't have nothing to do. And they said, you know, she wants to do some spring cleaning around the house. She don't need to do that.
We're saving her. We're saving her for.
That's what they thought. It's like, she don't need to do that. So, you know, I didn't do it.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay. Well, there's always next weekend.
There is always next weekend. I did a little bit today, but you know, it's a new season. It's a new season.
All right. Good job.
Thanks, cheerio.
At least you thought about it.
I thought about it. I had a plan. One day
the first part, though, you thought.
Yeah, it's like, what is it? You know, knowing is half the battle. I don't know, something like that.
I think that is it.
Something like that. That's the story I told myself anyway.
Well, I think it worked out, and you got plans, and you thought about doing it, and there you go.
That's the story that I told myself, which is segueing into what we're talking about today. The stories we tell ourselves.
Yes, and the Lord had us up with this one.
Yeah, because it started off as something else, and then while I was thinking over this week, it came up to more things, and I'm like, boy, there's a whole lot more to this than what meets the eye.
Yeah. This is a big one, I think, because it has to do with mindset, and this is where we get tripped up bad, and this is where the enemy lives. In that frontal lobe
in the story. And it's funny because, you know, one of the first things that we really honed in on when I was going through my coaching program was that you never believe your client's story.
Oh.
And everybody was kind of like, what do you mean?
What do you mean? What does that all mean?
It's like, that's their story. It's like, this is real. And no, because everybody's story is perceived by what they have experienced in their life or what they have been taught in their life, their beliefs, their exposures that they've been exposed to. And so everything is subject to what's been issued around you.
Yeah.
So that could change at any moment.
Yeah.
It's never solid.
And it all changes too with perception. And it's like, did you like marinate on it for a while? Did you sit in the feelings of it?
Yeah.
Did you process it? That's the big thing. Did you process it?
Yeah.
And then categorize it, you know?
That's the whole reason why you can have siblings be completely different. It's like you got raised in the same house, you got say raised with the same rules, you got raised around the same people, but you can have two, three, five, 12, however many siblings you have, that many different stories of how you live your life because
Right.
of your perception.
Mm-hmm. And age.
Yeah, it all depends because the firstborn is not going to be treated the same as the lastborn. You might be thinking you're doing that as a parent. However, we both know as parents, with your first child, you're like, I got to do everything perfect. I got to do all this stuff. I mean, like with Nicholas, you know how much I loved my Pepsi. You know how much I love my Pepsi.
When you told me what the doctor said when you found out you were pregnant, I was like, oh, she gonna die.
I was like,
She
and
gonna die.
it wasn't even a doctor's thing. It was mine because I wanted to
Oh,
make sure my baby was perfect and healthy.
she
So
didn't drink no Pepsi.
I can't be drinking sodas. It'll ruin them.
It'll disintegrate them.
And so I decided that I had to be a great mom and a great incubator. And so I totally cold turkey stopped drinking Pepsi. It was like crazy. It was like the worst thing of my life.
You gave up the Pepsi and you gave up the tea.
I did.
That tea
How
that
I
you put
like it. You
powder
know
tea
how
or
I
whatever
like
that
it.
was.
Yeah, I used to do that Nest tea in the
Yeah.
can.
Oh, you thought that was the dealio, baby.
Oh man. I'm thankful for that because I never picked that back up again. Thank you.
Yeah,
Whew, thank you, Jesus.
you didn't pick
That
that
was
one up.
like a crazy thing. But yeah, cold turkey for Nicholas. Sydney came along
Mm,
and I'm like, okay,
what is that?
I'll
What is
have
that
one.
silly?
I can have one here and there. So every now and then, I threw it in on a special occasion or something. It's like, oh, hey, so and so
Wait a minute. Did you say
somebody's
special?
birthday. Let me just have a little bit, little bit. Noah came along, man, it was all out the window. I'm like, whatever. Let me have one. Let me have 12.
Stop the fridge.
Pick me up a case while you're out
There you
there.
go. Oh,
But it's like, the stories change as you go along.
yeah.
So you just got to roll with that.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing you were talking about where the siblings can grow up in the same house,
Hmm.
same events are happening, but the
Yeah.
perception
But
is
they've
so
got
different. And I
totally
was
different stories.
I was talking to my brother, I think it was like 3 weeks ago. And we were talking about some things when we were growing up and everything, and totally
Did
didn't
not
know.
resemble the
You
same
were right
story.
there. I'm like, bro, what? And he was just like, yeah. Oh, and he said one thing. We were talking about cigarettes because my mom used to smoke, right? And so, which is amazing. She had a stroke a couple like 20 years ago, and because of the smoking, where whatever part of the brain goes with like not addiction, but you keeping
Mhm.
smoking or whatever it is,
Yeah.
that got affected. And she was like, I don't even have the urge to smoke. She never smoked again after that.
Yeah.
But growing up, she smoked, right? And so
But it
cigarettes
was
for
it was
me,
cool for them back then.
oh, it was Lucille Ball and baby.
You were
I mean,
sophisticated.
I'm like, was it smelling better or something? But when I smell cigarette smoke, I get headaches and allergies. Like it just kicks like a cat. Like I'm allergic to cats. It just kicks my system in, like boom, right? Teddy said that's weird. He says when I smell cigarettes, I feel comfort.
Wow. That's totally
I'm like,
opposite
you
ends of the
what?
spectrum.
Yeah. And he's the youngest. He's
He
three
feels
years
at
younger than
home.
me. Yeah. And that's how when he says when he smells cigarettes, he feels comfort. And I don't. It brings up all different kind of stuff for me than
Yeah,
for them.
that's
And I was like,
wild.
that is amazing perception, right?
Yeah. It's all about, the feelings and the perception and the exposure. And the experiences that you had with those things. And it's like they create this story in your mind and you begin to live from that thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild. I
Hold
keep
on.
I keep
Hold
hearing
on for
talking.
hold on just a second. I love y'all, but I got to deal with something for this. Just
Okay, I got to see this. I got to see this. This is gonna be good. Somebody about to get it. So this is what happens when you have family, when you have grandkids, kids, grandkids. These are the things that happen. You know, you're trying to do your thing. You hear little knocks at the door.
No, I'm back. That wasn't the door. It is Sunday, everybody, and spring break has started
Everybody's
over
home.
here at the household. And the
Everybody's home.
grandkids, all three of them are home. They're taking a bath and they're in the bathtub and they're bang banging on the
I'm like, what am I
but it's over
hearing?
my head. That's what you're gonna hear it. I could
It's all good.
life.
I just had to be aware. It's like, am I hearing what I'm hearing or am I just crazy? I don't.
This
That's
is
life, people. This is life.
life.
This is life. This is why, this is why we chilling at the beach house because stuff happens at the beach
See,
house.
in my mind, you see perception. I'm at the beach house.
I am at the beach house.
We
Totally.
are at the beach house.
Waves are crashing against the.
Yes, yes. Waves are
We're sitting out on the deck.
Yes,
with our drink.
with a perfect weather,
Waves crashing.
little breeze,
Gentle breeze.
and my elliptical in the background. And this right here, oh, it moved. Is the turtle tank.
Yes,
I wonder if I can show it.
The turtle tank with the dead turtles in it.
They're not dead. No, they're in there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see them, but they're in there. I call them frickin' frack.
Frick and frack. Yin and yang. Pork and beans.
Yeah. But back to talking about story of perceptions and things like that, and the story like we were gonna name what we came up with, where the Lord just kept waking us both up, and we talked this morning, at least an hour, and we were blown. Look at the take. See, I don't even know. You know what, y'all? We just gonna have to have it in there today. Today is the day. But it was crazy because we came together in conversation this morning at the round table, I call it, and we both were talking about the same thing, and the Lord has on the same subject, and we're just like, you know what, we're gonna have to break this up.
We gotta go with it.
Yeah, and we came up with like some topics that we're gonna keep under this umbrella of the title of basically the story we tell ourselves, right? And so we're going to talk about, okay, don't laugh. I came up with this, but it just hit me. Like, take off your grave clothes, baby. And what I mean by that is stop saying you're old.
Stop waiting to die.
Stop waiting to die.
Stop waiting to die.
That's one of them.
It's another coming. One. Esther, it's coming. Oh. I'm having the big one.
Yes, and we're going to dive deep into that. And another one of the subjects was where we tell our story we tell ourselves is that we're not good enough.
Yep,
worth.
That is a huge one because we all go through this thing of not being worthy enough. For what? Who knows?
What?
It's like nope, not good enough.
Yeah. So that was one of them that we're gonna squeeze in there. And then another one was like the story we tell ourselves about our body, about our weight, about our health.
That's a huge one. That's like a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Shoot.
Everybody's got to have perfect skin, perfect hair, be the perfect size, take the perfect protein powder.
But who's the perfect though? That's the question. Yeah. I don't understand.
Who's the model?
Who is it?
After.
Yeah. So we're gonna dive deep into that one.
It changes constantly.
Yeah, that's mm. And then another one is the story we tell ourselves about relationships.
You know there ain't no good men left in this world.
That
Mm-mm.
yeah.
Not
And
not a one. Really?
sure,
Not one?
come on now,
Not one. Mm-mm.
And with that one, we want to touch on also law of attraction. So that'll be in that little podcast. We're gonna put them all together,
Gonna be
like
good.
a
It's gonna
group.
be good. It's
And
gonna be
then another one that we came up with is the story we tell ourselves as far as success, being successful.
You know,
And
it's so hard to be
you know,
successful because there's so many things going against me.
and who judges what is the meter?
I can't get ahead because there's so many people. They're all after me. They don't want to let me be. They don't
They
let.
won't let you be, girl.
They just don't want to let me be. It's rough.
Oh Lord Jesus, help me, God. And then the last but not least, because we'll probably add on to this because you know how we are, is the story we tell ourselves about marriage and family. Let me tell you something. That was
Man,
yeah,
yeah, there's so many.
yeah,
There's so much. So much.
so
So
much.
so much.
So
And I know there's a lot of you that are thinking, now what the heck are they talking about stories? I don't
mhm.
understand. This is reality. This is my life. I hate to be the one to break it to you,
It's
but
story.
that life of yours is the story that you came up with.
It's your story.
It is your
It's
story,
your story. It's your journey.
the one that you picked out the shelf and read that book and said, "This is my favorite story. I'm
Yeah.
keeping it. I'm keeping
But
it."
the perfect part about it is that we can change the story. Guess what? Because we're the writers. We're the Arthur. The
We
Arthur.
are the
The
author.
Arthur.
We're Arthur and
Author.
author.
The Arthur.
We are Arthur and author
Of
all
our
at the same
story.
time. All at the same time. And
Yeah.
we don't do anything that we haven't worked out ourselves first
That
because
we're not doing right now as we speak.
that
Right.
just wouldn't be right to just come up with some mess and just try to put it off on you guys. So yeah, no. We got a story that we got of our own
Yeah.
that we had to work through too. There's many, 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 many stories that we had to work through. I'll start with myself
Okay. I'll sit
because
back.
I know the stories I told myself, and one of the stories that I told myself pretty much my whole life. I mean, this caused me major depression at times.
Oh,
Major depression at times because I felt like I was missing out on so much because I couldn't see.
wow. Wow.
Everything that was going on around me, I was missing out on it. So my life could not be as good as everybody else's because they're doing all this stuff that I'm missing out on. They can drive. I can't drive. So therefore, if I can't drive, look at all the stuff I'm missing. I can't go to
Wow.
parties. I can't meet up with people. I can't go out with friends because I don't drive.
Dang. I don't
That's the
know if anybody
story.
wrote that. Okay.
Story that I told myself. Why don't I
Yeah.
have more friends? Well, because I can't drive and go meet people like everybody else does.
Wow.
Why can't I do the things that I want to do? Well, because I can't drive because I'm blind.
Oh man. Oh man. Man.
Therefore, they
Yeah.
are out there having all the fun in the world, and I'm missing out.
Wow.
That was a deep story.
That'll stop you in your tracks.
Yeah, that was a deep story. I kept that one for a long time. And the funny thing is, even though that was my story, I was still working overtime to make sure I didn't fit that story. That's how
Oh,
crazy and confusing it is.
wow.
Because, I got out of every chance I could get. And it's like I overcompensated and did all these things that most people didn't do because I felt like I was missing out.
So overcompensated.
Yeah,
Interesting. Interesting.
it was crazy.
That's a lot to break off of there.
It is. I mean, it took me a long time to work through that one. And even
Yeah.
still, it still kind of meandered into now, and I had to work through that because, losing more vision over the past year and a half, I had to readjust and start using my cane. And you know how I felt about that.
Yeah. She had a good stigma for that one though, because
That
that
was,
stigma happened in junior high though.
yeah, I'm like, you want me to do what? I'm not using that. That's what blind people use.
When question, when did you first get exposed to a cane? Like how old were you?
I was in elementary school. Because
Really?
yeah, because we they had the VH program, the visually handicapped program, because back then, they didn't put everybody together. You had to be separated.
Mm,
So that was like from the time I was in elementary school because I was seeing other people who were totally blind or partially sighted. And so I was exposed to all of that stuff. And in my mind, I saw them using the cane, and it's like, ooh, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that because I see how people look at them. So,
wow.
my story, my experience that led me to that was I see that they're getting negative feedback. So, I don't want that. So, I'm not going to do that.
Oh
So,
wow.
that went into you got to do everything you can to look normal so you don't get put into that category. So,
Hmm.
all the things that they had like for like the foundation for the junior blind and stuff where they actually had really cool activities and stuff.
Mhm.
I didn't want to be a part of it because I didn't want to be in that group.
Oh,
So I missed out on like camps and stuff. I missed out on parties. I missed out on dances and stuff that they had going on. And everybody would tell me like, the friends that I had, oh, why didn't you go? This was so fun and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, I don't do that.
so the friends in junior high, they would ask you that.
Yeah, they were always trying to get me to go.
Wow,
And
I did not know that.
I would never go
I didn't even know that.
because I didn't want to be a part of that.
I just knew about the one girl who used to walk down the hallway with her cane, and I mean, she didn't like gently do
She was,
her cane. She was. We won't say your name.
she was doing it. She was doing it with purpose.
She was gonna kill
But
somebody. That's
see,
what
though,
she.
she had attitude with it, though. She had attitude with it. She's like, anybody says something, they gonna get this cane.
Yeah, yeah. And didn't she tell me that like she was blind, but she had other siblings that were blind too, right? Was that
She had
her?
one sibling. She had one sibling that was blind because they had like a huge one of those big families.
Mm-hmm.
She had one other sibling that was blind. That was it.
Wow.
But that girl was intentional because her family, her parents, they raised her in that place of there's nothing wrong with you. You were strong, you were proud, keep your head up. And girl did. She wasn't hiding.
Wow. Yeah.
But then, she was in a position where she had to because she couldn't see at all.
Interesting.
I think I almost look at it kind of like, back when they had like the light black people that were trying to pass. Sometimes
Yeah.
I see it like that, because I had enough vision, it's like I can fake it and I don't have to. I don't have to have anybody know. That was the mindset.
Interesting.
It was crazy. But it's like
Very,
as I look back on it now, man, it's like I spent so much time wasted. Just
yeah.
wasted time because I could have been having fun. I could have been enjoying myself.
Yeah. Wow.
Because now I found myself in a position where, okay, your vision is slacking now, so you really need it. And so now what are you gonna do?
Oh,
So I had
wow.
to, that's where we get into the mindset of having to sit in things and really process them because there's no way to get to the other side except to go through the middle. You can't, there's no shortcuts. You have to sit in things and allow yourself to feel it. And so
Yeah.
I had to do that to get to a place of, okay, I need this and it's going to make my life easier if I have it. So I have to figure out how to do it in a way that I can feel good about myself. And so
Right.
I had to practice using it. So I had to change the story. And
Mm-hmm.
instead of being the person that's missing out on something, I had to change it to this is who you are. And you deserve to have the best life possible. And so if this is what you have to do to get it, then that's what you need to do and you need to own it. And the word own kept coming to me over and over and over. You have to own it. So I literally told myself when you walk into a room, you have to own that room.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, what does that look like? And so it looked like, well, you have to walk in the room with your cane and your head, your chin has to be up, your shoulders have to be back, and you have to act like this is the way it's always been. Everybody should be this way.
Yeah. And it was funny because when we were discussing that very point right there, I told you, I said, when you, a lot of times, when you walk in the room, you're looking down at your feet.
Hmm.
I said, you walk in with the authority already.
Because you're trying to hide.
Yeah. And you've always like walked with that authority, but you
Hmm.
always would look kind of down a little bit. I said, if you just raise your head up like an inch, you've got it.
Yeah, that's what you were telling me.
And then you're like,
And
are
then
you
part of
serious?
that too, and then part of that too was trying to get the most of my field of vision
Mm-hmm.
because I tend to slightly my massage guy told me that because
Massage guy.
the side of my neck is always hurting because I always have my head slightly this way because it gives me a bigger field of vision. And
Oh.
so I'm not looking straight on, I'm usually looking slightly this way because I have a little more on that side. And if I'm
Mm-hmm.
slightly down, I can see what's going on down versus if my head is up, I only have what's straight ahead, which which unfortunately takes out a lot of kids.
It does what?
It takes out a lot of kids.
Why are you knocking
Because
out children?
because if I'm looking straight ahead and a little kid comes up,
Oh,
bam. Because
oopsie.
if my head is not slightly down, I will not see them and they get knocked down. I'm like, oh, sorry, baby. So yeah, that's the thing. That's a real
Well.
thing. So I had to learn how to work around that too.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's like you gotta have your head right in the right spot so
Yeah.
you can field as much as possible. It's like them poor little kids. It's like boom. And
It does.
you know I don't walk anywhere slowly either. So that's another
No,
that's another thing.
be moving. You've always been like that. So.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's
dang.
one thing that bothers me now. You know, if I'm using my cane, I tend to walk slower now because I'm like, oh, I can't see as well as I used to. And I'm like,
Mhm.
this is messing up my stride.
Yeah. Well, what was weird is because I didn't realize, and it was funny because it just kicked right into right into play, like we were in high school when we went on the cruise. And I'm used to, I guess I was your cane. I don't know, because I was used to how we moved together,
Yeah,
right? And
because
then,
I'd always be slightly behind you so I can follow.
yeah. And then you told me we were walking on the boat and everything. And then I was like, okay, we're coming where it's dark or whatever, kind of, gets dark or whatever. And then you were like Mo, you have to like not hold my arm. Like you showed me how now to hold. Like
Yeah,
you grab my elbow or whatever if it's
we
too
didn't have
dark.
to do that back then.
Yeah. And then you said something
Because
like let
you were
me,
locking arm like that, but
yeah.
that kind of put me in front. And I'm like, I can't be in the front.
Like
You have to be in the front.
but you're the one who knows where we're going. No,
Like, I know where we're going, but I can't see it.
like,
And
but
it
I
was funny
know where
because
we're going.
I was with a friend when I came out to visit in California too. And he was trying to do the same thing. He was used to walking behind with his family.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm trying to walk behind him and he's like, no, I'm supposed to be behind you so I can watch, so I can protect and stuff. And I'm like, no, I need you to be in front because I'm following you.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
he's like, okay, well, explain to me how this works because I want to know. And so I'm like, no, yeah, this is the way it needs to be. I need to be behind you. So he's like,
yeah.
oh, okay, okay, okay.
And that was a trip because like I said, that was our positioning from junior high to
Yeah,
adulthood. And then there was another thing, I guess I was leading or something, and you're like, Mo, you have to that's why I have the cane now. You have to let me use the cane. And I was
yeah.
like, oh, okay. So I just kind of stepped back a little bit and let you do your thing, or whatever. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize I was the cane all this time.
You were the
But
king.
it was
But it's
very
like,
interesting.
yeah, it's this.
I was retired.
You have to change the stories around. You have to change the narrative because
Yeah.
you can sit in a place for so long and you don't even know what you're doing or why you're doing it until you actually stop and think about why am I thinking this way? Why did I believe this? Why did I act this way? And then you realize, oh, dang, that's the story I told myself all this time, that I was missing something. There was nothing I was missing.
Wow.
There was nothing I was missing.
Nothing.
And I didn't need to hide who I was,
Mm-mm.
but I felt like I did so I could fit in. I didn't need to do that. But that was the story I told myself for so long
Wow.
because I saw, okay, they got negative feedback, so I don't want that. So I got to do this.
Interesting.
Crazy, crazy.
Wow. Well, I have a story that I've never told.
Do tell.
I've never really told this.
What is the story that you told yourself?
The story that I told myself. Well, when I grew up with a learning disability, and this learning disability was found out in kindergarten. That when I would go to school to learn things, I would learn like everybody else. The next day, completely did not know what I learned. It was gone, right?
Yep.
And so through that process, thank God for kindergarten, and they paid attention in those days, I guess. Um, so then my parents started taking me to a doctor. They took me to a specialist and stuff. And I remember going there and had to put electrodes on my head. And that was like the night before I got to sleep, like stay up late, woo, because you have to sleep through the whole like process of it. And
Yeah.
so then the guy would, do whatever. I'd go into the hospital or whatever, and then they read your brain scans and stuff of how your brain is functioning and everything. And so then after that, I remember doing so many tests and stuff. And this guy, he actually wrote books. And so he was a specialist guy. I mean, they study your feet, everything of how your body functions, right? And so then after that, they put me on a medication, and the medication is illegal now. It's called Dexedrine. It's an upper, I guess. And what it would do, it would speed my brain up, and then I could grab. information, and then I was fine. It was just like it's almost the equivalent of caffeine. Like
Yeah.
you give somebody like a caffeine rush, but my body will take it not like a woo-hoo, it'll take it just like a smooth
Yeah.
right up.
It makes it opposite.
It
So
like, yeah, like balances me out
you
kind of
give
thing,
that
right?
upper and then they calm.
Yeah. And so I started taking that. And then once I started taking that, I was learning like this, boom, boom, like no problem, nothing, just hit. But and then so through that time, I was put in this called LDG. What's that? Learning disability something.
Yeah.
And so I was in that and stuff for a while, and because I had to catch up, as the years went by, I had to catch up or whatever. And so I remember the teacher would come in and then they pull you out of class and you go to LDG. Do you need help with anything?
Yeah.
They
See,
go
that was
through that.
another thing I hated. It's like
I
they always
hated that.
always pull us out of class because they want
Yes.
attention to you.
Yes. You're just like, really? Really? Yeah. So the biggest thing that it affected was learning how to read and telling time. So with learning how to read, I had to learn differently than everybody else. So I went to a thing called reading clinic after school. You'd have to drive me all the way to Whittier, and I learned that way. And the way they taught me was, with phonics. And so, and they use colors, right? And so for me, I learned by colors. And I don't know if it's the artistic part of me or whatever, but that's how I remember things. And so I started developing a process of how I function and how I remember how to spell or anything like that, right? Once I developed my own little system, then I was fine with reading. But I read late in the game. Like
Mm-hmm.
I look at my grandson who's 8, and he's like, do reading, and I'm just like, dude, do you know how awesome that is to just be able to pick up a book and literally look at it and you can read it? I would sit there and look at a book like they were words, but I didn't know how to
Mm-hmm.
say them.
Jumbled.
Yeah, they were jumbled. And it was like I could read like the is, the, and all that, but like I had to sound out everything and it took forever, right? And so through the years and everything, through elementary school, as we're going on, I'm just catching up and I'm like getting straight A's now, right? And so I had told my mom, I'm like, is there a way to test out of the LDG stuff? And she said, I don't know. Why don't you ask your teacher or whatever? So I asked, can I test out? And they're like, well, nobody's ever done that before. Well, I'm going to do it. So, right. So I took the test. I tested out of LDG because I was already making straight A's. And so I tested myself out of that. But through that whole process, as far as like learning how to, like normally when you study spelling words, remember we have to do spelling words. Oh my God,
Right.
hated it. Right. And you write, and you part of the learning your spelling words is you write them over and over and everything like that. Well, I could write over and over for days and it didn't do anything. But if I wrote my words in different colors, when I went to take the test, I remember my brain grabs to the colors and it spells the colors out. And I would remember sitting there and I'm remembering the color. And like, let's say I wrote that word in red, I see red letters and I would write the letters.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I would pass my spelling test, was by memory of sight. So then I learned that I was a hands-on learner, right? So as I'm going on through the years and you get into high school and all that and everything, did good in high school, got great grades, got scholarships for college and all that or whatever. And then college comes around and oh my God, that the way they teach you in college, just that messed me up because they teach with like regurgitated information, right? It's basically learn it, throw it up, go.
Yeah.
I don't learn like that. I have to like process what I'm learning, or it stays like it's floating in the air, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I got to college, that's when I met my ex-husband and stuff. And he's 2 years older than me, so he's already going through his stuff, and he's dyslexic. So we met up perfect, right? And so My strengths help him, his strengths help me, right? And so I'm going in class and I am not doing good because I don't learn like that. I don't learn with just throw information out and it has no sauce, if that's the way you want to put it, right? And it's not hands-on. It's just learn it, know it, take the test, move on. And it's like, okay, but I don't understand what the heck I just learned. It makes no sense to me, right? It was no connection. So then as we're getting in our relationship or whatever, then 2 years in, pretty much that's when we got married. So I was like almost 20. We get married and everything, and we had to make a decision because he's going to still have school, but he's going on for his master's and everything. So we both decided that with a double family, who's going to go to school, right? Who's going to finish and being the wife and gonna have kids one day or whatever. I'm like, well, you know what I'll do is I'll just work, get a job or whatever, and then he'll work or whatever, but he'll continue going to school because he went from undergrad all the way to doctorate's degree.
So was that
Straight.
the story that you were telling yourself that, I can't get this, so I might as well be the one?
Yeah, I might as well be the one, right? Through the whole time. And so then as you're getting older and I'm in the now time or whatever, and I noticed how I learned and I noticed how that keeps me where I have to be extremely organized. I'm very meticulous. I'm very detail oriented. I'm very hands on, right?
The opposite for me.
Yeah. Because I'm like, wait, hold up. I have to write this down.
She's like, did you write this down? I'm like, yeah, I got it. She's like,
She's like,
show me the
no,
paper. She just did
read
this
it
to
to
me
me.
today. She just
That
did
just
this to me today. I said,
today.
I got it. She's like, show me the paper. I'm like, I don't have it written down.
Like,
It's
no,
right
right.
here.
Oh my gosh. But I never told anybody about the memory thingy because I didn't want them to think that, oh, well, maybe the ex would play that against me, like, oh, maybe you forgot. It's like, it doesn't work that
Uh-huh.
way. It doesn't work that way. It's not with everything. It's just with like some things. And I'll start forgetting stuff sometimes when I'm under extreme stress, right? But I know how to handle that. I just take notes, whatever, right? But just the process of all of that stuff, you're thinking you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not all
Mm-hmm.
this, right? And then the Lord had me, like we were talking about, like processing what you went through and why you think the way you think, right? And so
Gotta sit in it.
one day, yeah, I was sitting and the Lord's like, you don't realize how much you've accomplished, do you? And I'm like, no, I never really thought about it. He's like, let's think this out.
Yeah,
I want
you
you to
have to
go, I want
actually
you to go
go
to the
through it
beginning.
and like list it.
List it.
Really list it.
I listed it. And I was blown. He's like, aren't you the one who got like 2 scholarships for college? And it wasn't from sports. It was from the English department,
Right. And here
right?
you have trouble learning.
Right? English department and the child psychology department. I got scholarships to go to a university with those, right? Then I go get married or whatever, have kids. Then I go to massage school, right? Then I end up going back to the university as their sports massage therapist, right? He's like, and one thing about massage school, and I think that's what helped me realize the hands-on is you're learning the muscles and the bones and everything. And oh my God, when I went to the class, I'm thinking, oh, we're just gonna learn how to do massage, right?
Mm-mm.
No, it was
You got
all the body
anatomy,
parts.
physiology, all of it.
Yes. And I'm like, man,
Oh my gosh.
I was like, how am I gonna remember this? Right? That I was scared, Stephanie. I was scared. I was like, no, I'm gonna do this for myself. I'm gonna do this. The school, this is the most awesome thing ever. The school, the way that the owners designed the school was to be able to teach the blind. So the way they did their classes coincide with the classes about the muscles and the bones and everything. But when you learn about it, that day you go in and massage that area that shows the connection of the muscle connected to the bone to the, so it made it a visual thing, and your hands on girl past with flying colors. I was the one massaging the owners. I mean, that's how good I was, right? And so then he's like, see, you accomplished that, right? And so then he goes down to the next thing. He's like, and then you eventually, then you got to where you owned your own business. We started owning our own businesses. I think about by the time we were done, maybe 5 or 6 businesses from scratch, business in finances, money, memory, all that kind of stuff that I had to learn, right? How to run it. Because I was the one who did the running part of the business. He was like the face part, or the, what do you call it? Like the socializing person of the business or whatever, right? And everything. And any, wrote policies and stuff like that. But because I'm meticulous, I see things different. So I was able to pick up on how to help somebody else be successful in their business, and all these little things that you pick up on, right? So did that. And then decided one day, I'm sitting there folding clothes, watching Bill Cosby. Commercial comes on for Cordon Bleu. I was like,
hey, I want to do that.
Yeah, I always wanted to learn how, but it's just to learn some stuff, right? Just I want to learn some new stuff, right? So I decided to go to culinary school. That's all memory, right? So I'm going to school, but it's hands on. It's hands on learning at the same time that you're learning French cuisine, right?
Yeah.
So I learned all that. Didn't realize how much I learned. Ended up, unfortunately getting a divorce. And so I had to use that skill for a career, which was not planning to do. Jumped into that, and I end up having 3 restaurants on a university campus. Literally, here's the room here, create a restaurant and run it and hire and design it, and that, all of that, right? So did all of that, and the Lord's like, you did that. Your restaurants were #1 on the campus. You were making more money in your 3 hours that you were open for lunch than the cafeteria that's open all day. I'm like, I never thought of that.
All this from somebody who supposedly couldn't learn.
Stephanie, from somebody who didn't finish college.
Yeah.
I only finished 2 years. And I'm just like, dang, financial planner, massage therapist, and a chef, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't realize till what, when I was talking to you last year, or whatever, that I was an executive chef. I didn't even, because they aren't going to pay you, right? Which is supposed to be. But I looked it up. Everything on there was executive chef. I was an executive chef the whole time. Didn't even know it. And all I could think about was the Lord says, I'm the one who promotes you.
Yeah.
I'm the one who promotes you.
But it's like you think about all of the things that, we sit in the stories that we tell ourselves, and your life bleeds from that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had to sit and do the same thing. I'm like, I missed out on so much. I'm like, well, wait, what did I miss out on?
We didn't miss
I'm
out.
like, you did sports all through high school.
We did.
You went to CIF championships. You lettered.
That was, remember our big goal on that? We are like, we are going to letter.
We're gonna letter.
That was the top of the goal sheet, baby. And that's the thing too, because we weren't out partying in the streets.
We were not athletic. I mean, we were like, compared to other people, it's like, but
right?
we made up our mind. This is what we were gonna do.
We did.
And then we did it.
we weren't out in the streets, but man, we were the most goal planning people on the
We
planet.
were goal planning. We were like popular and doing what we're supposed to do. And we had to work
Yeah.
at it because it's like, we went out for volleyball and we didn't make that.
Wait, wait. Let's go back to the track part because guys, we didn't know what track was. We
No.
didn't know what it was.
Hey, I wanted to play volleyball
Well,
and
no,
we tried.
remember, wait, okay, that part, but wait, that's before, that's after. But the before part was our coach, the PE teacher. Wasn't our PE teacher
I hated running.
Fergie's dad, Fergie, the
Yep.
singer, that, yeah. So
Yep.
he said, I
Coach.
want you guys to go out for track. We're like, what the
I'm
heck is
like,
track?
man, I hate running. Just in
I
PE, I
was
hate.
like, oh man, dude. And so he got us out there and we're sitting on the blacktop and we're stretching and he's looking at how we stretch and he's walking around saying, okay, I want you to be this. And I want you to do this. And he points at me, McAllister, I want you to be a hurdler.
Hurdle.
What the heck is a hurdle? I don't even know.
What the heck? What the heck?
I don't even know what a hurdle. I'm like, what's a hurdle? He's like, I'll show you how to do it. I'm like, okay, great. Right. It was like, we didn't know what we were doing.
No,
We had no clue.
I didn't even want to be there because for one,
He
like I
made
said,
us though.
I wanted to play volleyball and I kept losing the ball in the lights in the gym. Oh,
Oh,
needless to say, I didn't make the team. But it's like I hated running. You know I hated running.
I know you found a way out of it.
Hated running. I found a way out of it because
You
they
did.
had me running sprints. They had me doing middle distance. They had me doing 100. They had me doing the 200. They had me doing relays. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. I hate running. Running. But
I
it's
was
like
sweating.
everything else I wanted to do. I couldn't play basketball. I
Mm.
couldn't swim because I couldn't mess up my hair.
Oh, right.
I couldn't play
That's
volleyball.
for another
I
day.
couldn't play softball. All the things that I wanted to do, I couldn't see well enough to do. Track was the only thing. And I'm like, I hate running with a passion. So I'm out there sweating it up, dying out there. And all of a sudden, I look over and I see these people eating In-N-Out,
In and out and eating honey. Remember
hanging out
the
by
honey?
the discus in the shot put ring. And I'm like, what the heck are they
What are
doing?
they doing?
And
They're over
then
there eating it
while
out.
we were over there running, they were over there going to the weight room. And I'm like, hold up. What are they doing? I want to do it. I'm like, what are they doing over there, coach? He's like, oh, that's shot putting disc people. I'm like,
Love you. Bye.
really? I'm like, could I try that? He's like, and here I am, 104 pounds.
He was like, here you are, 104 pounds, right? The
I'm
stories
like,
that people tell you. No.
I'm like, can I try shot putting discus? And so next thing you know, I'm over there chilling with them and I'm waving at you running by.
I'm like, go, Monique, go! Shut up!
Monique, have fun. You go, girl.
You
Well,
go. I'm like, shut
there.
up!
While I'm sitting there working out in the weight room, eating.
And they were all big. They were all bigger.
They were way big.
They were way big.
I was like very, very not big.
No.
But I'm
And
like,
you went to state.
I sure did.
Yeah.
Chucking that shot put.
Chuck and Chuck.
Okay. Thing that was not supposed to happen. That was not supposed to happen. So it's like, okay, did sports lettered? Went to college. It's
Well,
like
no, let's talk about the volleyball.
volleyball.
Because I didn't know about the volleyball of the sophomore and junior year that you wanted to do that. And then
Right.
one day we were walking
I'm
by
like,
and said, I really want to try volleyball.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let's go try it. And we
like
went.
for that one, I didn't believe the story in my head that hey, you're blind, you can't play volleyball.
No,
I
we
played
went.
volleyball. I played volleyball outside,
Yeah. And we had played for PE or something. And so we went in the gym and we're like, hey, coach, we want to try out. He's like, okay. And so thank God we did it in PE, so we knew we were kind of doing it. And says, okay, Steph, when the ball comes and it's getting close, I'm going to say, hit it. And then that's when you lift up your hands and you hit it. Okay, cool. So I get out there, I do what I'm supposed to do, getting down. And then she gets up there and I'm just like, hit it. And then she's hitting it, man. And it's going over, it's doing everything it needs to do, right? By the time we were done with I guess that was like I don't want to say audition, whatever.
Free
The
tryout.
tryout.
Free
When
tryout.
we were done with the tryout, coach comes up to us and he's mad. And I'm like, hey, coach, how you doing? He's like, I cannot believe you guys are going to try to come out here and do volleyball your junior year, because this was for the senior year. He's like, you guys are really good, but I can't put you on the team because I'd have to put you as a freshman and you guys are going to be seniors.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, he's like, see, you should have started
Can do it.
back then.
Can
But he
do
said we did really good. He wanted to put us on the team. We're like, okay, we'll just stick to track. Thank
it.
you.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. But it's like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna go with that story. It's like, it came to college. It's like, I'm the first one in my family to go to a 4-year college and graduate.
Wow. Yeah.
I get the husband, I get the kids. He says, hey Steph, come to this martial art class with me. I think
Oh,
we should do it. I'm like, okay, yeah,
you're
sure.
like, dude, what?
I'll come with you. I'll come with you. And, he's like, yeah, I think I want to do it. And it's like my competitive side will not let me do it without, will not let him do it without me. I'm like, well, I got to do it too.
Because
Because,
I got to beat you. No.
I had that major competitive thing going on. So I'm like, well, you're not going to do martial arts and I'm not going to do martial arts. I'm going to do it too. So I get out there and I'm like, this is crazy. But I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And it's like, okay, girl. I just kept going. I just kept going. And
That is
this is
wild.
fun, man. It's like, and I realized it's like, okay, if you're going to be successful at this, you can't get hit.
But that's part of it, right?
So I'm like, that means, so I'm
That's
like,
like boxing.
that means you got to get fast so you can strike first. That's how that's got to go. It's
Oh.
like, okay, how we got to do this? It's like, okay, I'm not going to see it coming. So I got to make sure. Thank God we did point sparring and not, knockout sparring. We did point sparring. So I'm like, I just got to get to the points first.
Oh, scenario. Okay.
And it's funny. It's funny
Okay.
though, because we had like a one thing that we went to in Vegas. We had nationals. And it's like I was sparring somebody, right? And it's like they spun and did a like spin hit kick. It caught me right on the side of the head. I was like,
Oh.
I had such a headache, man. It was like that was like the first time that I really got
Oh.
stung. And I was just like, I'm pissed. I was not ready to quit. I was like, nah,
No,
mm-mm.
that we
I
ain't
was,
have that.
I was pissed. I was pissed. And I ended up winning that round.
Oh,
But
okay.
I didn't win anything else after that because my head was throbbing. So,
Oh my gosh. That is wild. That is
but it's like,
wild.
it's crazy because, you tell yourself these stories in your mind about what you can't do
Yeah.
because of, and then the Lord will open up something and say, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
And that's when you have to make the decision to either believe your story or believe his story and
Yeah.
decide which one am I going to go with. Because every time I went with my story, it ended up with me losing out on something. But every time
Mm,
I decided to override it and go with his story, I always excelled. Always.
yeah. Yeah. My story made it that I like closed in. And I remember thinking this too, because my brother, like I said, I had a brother that was 3 years older than excuse me, younger than me. And when I was learning how to read and stuff, then when it was time for him to learn how to read also or whatever, he just read whatever. And I just felt defeated, man. And my mom was a teacher and my dad worked for IBM back in the day. And so I felt like I was a broken child.
Yeah.
Like man, your teachers, your educators, you teach teaching, like my dad would teach how to use the typewriter and all that different things like that. And my mom was an actual teacher, preschool teacher at one time or whatever. And I just felt like, man, you guys got gypped because it
Yeah.
was that bad, dude. And learning
Well,
how
the
to tell
funny thing is,
time and all that because it didn't connect,
yeah,
you
the
know.
funny thing is, it's like as a kid, I always, I don't know if it was this rebellion or what it was, but if I got told I couldn't do something as a kid, that just like fueled fire for me to do it. It wasn't
Wow.
it wasn't until I got into the teen years when I started paying attention to what other people thought that I started feeling like the broken model.
Oh, interesting.
It kicked in later, and I felt
Yeah.
like this broken, defective model that wasn't right because it was always in my head that something went wrong. It's like, Lord, you messed up. You made a mistake because this isn't supposed to be me.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
messed up on this one. And so that didn't kick in until that I got older though. And I started
Interesting.
feeling like, man, I just feel like this broken, defective model because it's not supposed to be this way. But when I was younger, I was just like, what do you mean I can't do it? We'll see about that.
Yeah. Huh.
Like I was driven. And so I kind of had to go back to that story as I was older and say, you know, well, if they said I can't do it, then I'm just have to prove them wrong.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
that's where I got to with using this cane. It's like, all right, this is the reality. This is what it is. And so I'm just gonna have to make this thing my slave here and and own this thing.
My slave.
I get my slave. I was gonna say something else, but it's like, no, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna do
I don't say
that.
that. Keep it in the G area.
I was gonna make it my biddy, but no. I'm like, no, I will make this my slave. But it's like I had to change the story. I had to change the narrative and get out of that broken, defective model story.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with you. There's
Right.
nothing wrong with you. You're
Right.
fine.
Yeah. And I think to us grabbing on to with each other, just we did grab onto in high school that we are individuals and we are special. Like we operate differently, but we're successful. And that's how we were in high school,
Yeah.
you know. And I carried that along, all the way till now, and the way I function. And I didn't realize that I functioned this way until I like really like a friend has said something to me. And what did he say? You're A type something or whatever. And I was like, what the heck is that? And he's
Like,
like,
no, I'm
he said,
not.
look it up. And I read it and I'm like, oh dang. It's very organized person, and to being like I also look at your place in a family, and I'm the
Hmm.
oldest or whatever,
Yep.
but the way I process information is different from other people, and I have to write it down. Like writing stuff down is my first process to my memory
Hmm.
because I was used to writing stuff down. So if I can write it down, I'll remember it. If I don't write it down, then it's a whole gob of things that are floating in the air, and it'll keep coming like, oh, remember you got to do this. Oh, remember you got to do
Yeah.
this. Oh, remember you got to do this. And it'll fade away. And oh, remember you got to do this or whatever. And it'll come back later. It'll keep coming back in segments of time of my day.
Yeah.
But if I write it down, it's like, boom, I don't ever have to think about it again. Because if I don't, it causes major stress, major stress. So I even have a pad of paper next to the bed because I'll wake up in my sleep because a lot of times God talks to me when I'm sleeping,
Yeah.
3 o'clock. So to remember stuff, I will write it down and he'll have me write it down, write all the stuff down, and then I can go to sleep. But if I don't write it down, it's flying in my head all night
Yeah.
and it's
It's
going to,
it's that working that mindset of understanding that I don't have to be the same
as
as
somebody else.
somebody else. I am an individual. I do things the way I need to do things, and that is perfectly fine.
And it's perfect for me. It's
Yeah,
and how you think
it may
perfect for
not be,
you.
it may not be for them, but it is for me. And so I
Mm,
have to go with that.
yeah,
And just recognizing and loving yourself the way you are and adapting a new story. It's like the story that the creator said is you were perfect.
yeah, perfectly made.
Can I go with that story? Or am I going to go with the destructive one?
Right.
Because everything's got a positive and a
And a
negative.
negative.
You
Yeah.
can see something in a positive light, or you can turn it around because you can have two people in the same exact situation and they do completely different things. You could have somebody that, came from a horrible, broken family, homeless and whatever, and one end up on the streets, drug addict, the other one go to Harvard.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's about the story you told yourself.
Yeah. That is very, very, very true.
Same situation, totally different outcome.
Yeah. It's amazing.
It's a
Well,
beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
this is gonna be a deep, deep segment for us, I think.
Yeah, because it's so
Yeah.
important. It's so important to decide the right story for yourself so that you can benefit to the highest and, just enjoy your life to the fullest. Because when we're telling ourselves these negative stories and these negative narratives, it just robs you.
Yeah.
So when we can learn how to turn that around, shift the mindset, start speaking different words over ourselves, it changes everything. It
Yeah.
changes everything.
Yeah. And isn't that part of the kill still destroy?
Yeah,
It's stealing.
yeah. If he can steal your image, your vision,
Yep.
your goal for your life, or
For
destroy
yourself.
it in some way,
Hmm.
it'll die.
Yeah.
It'll die. And it's
And
like,
it's all about the mindset. And this stuff is not easy.
no.
It's not something that's simple because you're retraining your brain and your processes of how you're supposed to, I say, side of the fence again. On this side of the fence versus God's side of the fence. We were born into a different side, but
Mhm.
your mind needs to operate on the God part, on the spiritual part of the fence, because that's really who you are.
Yeah,
But it's retraining the brain processes.
it is.
You're
It's
not supposed to
making
think. I mean,
a
you're
decision.
not supposed to think like this. You know what I mean? That's what it wants you to think that.
It's making a decision, and it's like once you recognize that the thing that you've been thinking on is not really your reality, you can turn anything around.
Yeah. We're gonna dive into that too. Is it your reality of what you think about you, or is that something that you're living from your generations that's been passed down? That's somebody else's issue,
Yeah,
not your issue.
and you
But you
con.
live it and you don't even know you've been living it.
Mhm. It's deep.
Get juicy,
I'm
juicy,
excited.
juicy, juicy. Yeah.
I'm excited to get to just break these down like one at a time and just really get into it and just work on changing the way we think because what did the Romans 12:2 say? It's like transform your mind. Renew
Transforming of your
your
mind, the
re,
renewing of your mind. Yeah.
be transformed. Not just be changed. No, be transformed. When you're transformed, you turn into a whole brand new
New.
being. It's
Yeah.
transformed. It's brand new. It's not the same. And
Yeah.
you do that by renewing your mind.
And the way we're gonna do this, guys, is like literally those topics that we told you. We're actually gonna like take one topic and we're gonna study on that, and then we're gonna come up with a couple of affirmations for you to retrain the mind, because that's another thing.
Mhm.
Repetitive
And practices to
practices.
train your
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah,
Because it takes work. It takes work.
it does.
If it were
It
easy,
takes work.
everybody would be doing it.
Yeah, because everybody like around you is speaking the doo doo.
Yeah. I
They're
mean,
speaking the boo boo and the doo doo, and
all you gotta do is look around in the world today, in the political climate. It's like all you hear is negativity.
yeah,
And it's like, you know what? Stuff is gonna be going on all around you. That's
mhm,
never gonna change. There's
right.
always gonna be crap going on all around you. But does it have to affect me? No,
No,
it does
no.
not.
And
Does it
if you
have
get
to
the right
really
mindset,
I see some
then
people on social media, and I mean, their life is just wrecked because of what's going on now. And I feel like thinking to myself, it's like, how is this really affecting your day to day right now? It's not.
yeah.
It's not.
And if it
How
is,
all work.
how do you change that?
Yeah.
How do you change that little thing
Even if it is
to
directly
fix it?
affecting you, you can still change the narrative.
Yeah,
You don't have to
yeah,
stay in it. You don't have to stay in a bad situation.
no.
And at the
And
be
if you do the work with the mindset, this crap that's going on can become an opportunity.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because doors open.
Yeah,
Doors open when there's mess going on, that's
doors.
when the doors are open. So you got to be ready,
Hidden doors, huh? Hidden doors.
ready to step through.
Places that you did not
Say,
think these doors were gonna open. And the Lord's like, come on.
that's opportunities coming up. So you
Yeah.
got to be ready for it.
Because everybody else is over here distracted
Panicked, distracted, and that's your opportunity.
and traumatizing and mayhem. And it's like, okay, but did you see that crack over there by that door over there?
That's my
Go in
opportunity.
there. Go in there. I got something for you. That's what's happening.
Good thing. It's
Oh,
a
it's
good
about to go down,
on and
baby.
popping. On and popping.
On and popping, baby. All right. Well, we got a lot of studying to do on our first topic, which is take off the grave clothes, baby. Well, I'm walking around like the Walking Dead. Nope,
It's like, nah,
no more.
we got life to be living, so we don't have
Yep,
time to be walking around like the Walking Dead. We don't have time for that.
we don't have time for it.
There's life to be
Unacceptable.
lived, and this is like supposed to be the best time of your life.
Yeah, yeah.
You
All
got
right.
all the crazy hard work out of the way. Now it's time to enjoy.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, Steffi.
Yes. Hey, like, share, subscribe. Subscribe to the channel because it's all about empowering. It's all about inspiring. It's all about motivating you to live your best blessed life. So please subscribe to our channel. Please like, please comment, and please share. All of the above. And we will see you next time on
The
the
beach house.
House.